Hey everybody, it's Julian from BD Cosmos. So I've been meaning to do this for a little while. I thought of this idea maybe at the beginning of the year or late last year to do monthly videos talking about the monthly solicitations to tell you which books that I would subscribe to as a reader to read into, which seems interesting. What I would read on a monthly basis. So we're going to use Managed Comics and we're doing the May 2021 solicitation, which are books that are coming out in July 20th, 21. And these are books that are both from Diamond Previews and from DC's Connect, which we'll discuss later. And so these are 10 series that we're looking to read, and these are don't require any usually do not require any foreknowledge, and just you can just jump into, and to me seemed like a good read. The first one is Never Never from Heavy Metal Magazine, and Never Never is a play on Peter Pan. So it is a dark, twisted version of Peter Pan. So think of how Nottingham was a dark, twisted version of Robin Hood that has been very successful for Mad Cave Studios. Never Never is a world where the Petrus is in a world where it's very dark, and the Lost Boys are actually seem to be cannibals. There's immortal cannibals, and Wendy still seems to be there because there is a young girl who has to face her greatest test. So there's a dark secret. So this is like if you like these twist and amalgam versions of original characters, original stories that are now in the realm of making modifications to, I will definitely look into this. It seems like a very good read, and this is definitely a miniseries, probably a 5-parter. We've got Justice League Infinity. So this is the continuation to the final season of Justice League Unlimited, which was the animated series from DC Warner Brothers at the time. So this, I believe, takes off exactly where the last series ended. If we look at DC's, DC's Batman Animated Adventures continues. We had a first season last year. We're having a second season this year. They extended that first season by 5 issues to a total of 8 issues, if I'm not mistaken. And so there's no set number for this series. Usually with Infinite Frontier, DC tells us one of something. My perception is probably this is going to be a how do I say, a 12-part series. Then again, it could just be an ongoing, but they seem to be doing seasons for these comic books. So if you are a fan of that TV show from the early 2000s, late 90s, I believe it's early 2000s, I would definitely subscribe to this book. Our next one is Clans of Balari. Clans of Balari seems to me as a sort of Dune-esque Babylon 5 type read. It is written by Rob Blackie and Peter Blackie, which were the creators of Frontier. Frontier was a CBC series and also a Netflix series. It's got Jason Momoa in it. It's very good. So as you can read, it's no person or clan may exit the system. No person or clan may do designated work of another clan. Clans may not merge. Any person that breaks the primary law shall be made outcast. So this is very system-based, clan-based factions, and I believe Balari is the solar system which all these clans are stuck in, because we've got spaceships. But if you like these kinds of fantasy science fiction series, I would definitely subscribe to this from Aftershock. Next up, we've got Superman and the Authority. So this is also most likely a 5-part miniseries. So I am not a huge Superman fan, but I'm a mega Authority fan. So this is a new team of the Authority, and the only recurring usual characters from the Authority, from Classic Authority, is Midnighter and Apollo, but they've changed their costumes, which is kind of odd because we've seen them lately in other comic books, and they are in their classic costumes. So this seems to be part of the DC Omniverse, which is just an alternate universe. But from this, it seems that when Superman finds a task impossible for him, even he to complete, he brings the Authority. And so there's a bunch of characters here. There's a Speedster, and there's OMAC that's here. So I'm subscribing to this because as an Authority fan, and it's written by Grant Morrison, and so Grant Morrison has written some of the best books from DC in the last 20 years now. So I would definitely subscribe to this if you're looking for something new and you're interested in seeing Superman in a group that's not the Justice League. This one I'm really excited about. Skybound X is a 5-week, 5-issue event. It celebrates 10 years of Skybound, and it's going to talk about little side stories or little tidbits from the Skybound universe that didn't make it to the main stories. So we've got Rick Grimes 2000, which was an alternate ending to Walking Dead number 75. That is now continuing the story as if that 76 issue is Rick Grimes 2000. You've got the first comic book appearance of Clementine, who was in the Walking Dead from the Telltale video game series. You've got a new character from Stillwater, from Chip Zdarsky's Stillwater. You've got something from Ultra Mega. You've got the most amazing part to me is Science Dog, who Mark Grayson, the Invincible, that was a comic book character that he was reading of, that he was a huge fan of. So now we're going to get an actual Science Dog comic book. I believe that's issue 3. So it's not a huge investment. It is only 5 issues over 5 weeks. So you're just subscribing to those 5 issues for July. And if you were a fan of like I am of Walking Dead and the Invincible as a comic book, and you were like, oh, I wonder what they could have done with this. That's the plan. Is they're going to work on these little side stories, and who knows, maybe lead to somewhere if the sales are good and Kirkman's happy. We've got Amazing Fantasy from Marvel. So I believe this is the 3rd or 4th volume of Amazing Fantasy. Obviously, the most famous one is Volume 1, which had Amazing Fantasy 15. Its creation, first appearance of SpiderMan. So in this series, this is a very interesting concept. This is a 5-part miniseries. It has Red Room Black Widow, Teenage Spider-Man, and World War II Captain America, and they wake up together in this like fantasy land, and so again, you think that Frank Frazetta world of Conan-esque, and it's high danger. These characters seem very John Carter of Mars. So this high concept series, and in the past Amazing Fantasy series, they've always introduced a new character that became a mainstay. Obviously, Spider-Man. There was Arachno, I believe, in the Volume 2 or Volume 3. I can't recall. We haven't seen Arachno in a very long time. But my bet is they're going to introduce someone new in this, and that they will use into an ongoing series afterwards. But this as a series seems really cool. Again, it's just 5 issues, and it's probably these 3 characters together being forced to work together. Especially, teenage Peter Parker. He's kind of a nerd, and he's kind of difficult. He thinks he's know-it-all, but he's with Captain America, greatest hero. Very interesting. I would definitely subscribe to this. We Don't Kill Spiders. This is from Black Caravan, who have successfully done a lot of books in the last year out of Scout. Sorry, it is a Viking sort of series. It's a spin on Vikings and detective work. So you've got what does it say here? In the early Viking age, a faithless Norseman detective is summoned to Scandinavian hamlet where a series of murders have occurred. So we're talking about 1,200 years ago, or maybe 800 years ago. But it's this sort of horror theme-esque, but not so much horror, but more detective work. The art style from Black Caravan has been consistently top-notch. The cardstock as well for the paper that they use is very, very good. Usually these books are about 5 issues long, sometimes 4. I don't expect this to be an ongoing. This is just a small event, but the concept, I will look into it, and I think I would subscribe to as well. Next up, Fight Girls. So this is from Frank Joe and Sabine Rich, which are two of my favorite artists in the industry. And it's again, it's another science fiction series. Let's read it. 10 hard-as-nail women face off in an ancient contest of champions where the winner truly takes all. Title of Queen of the Galaxy. So this has a Hunger Games feel with a bit of a science fiction element from that. But instead of being children, it's grown-ass women who are the best of the best, and the best will be the queen of it all. So AWA has always done miniseries, but they also often do them in seasons. So depending how well Fight Girls does, they may have a season 2, see where the continuation is of all these characters land afterwards. Or the second season, if there is one, they may only just do instead of the continuation of this character, but the next fight for Queen of the Galaxy. So Fight Girls from AWA. Symbiote Spider-Man. So Symbiote Spider-Man doesn't require much knowledge in the past. These are 5-issue miniseries. This is their 4th one. This one's called Crossroads. So the first one was just Symbiote Spider-Man. The second one was Alien Reality. The third one was King in Black, Symbiote Spider-Man. So this one, it's been consistently, Peter David's been writing them. And so it's Peter David taking Spider-Man in the 80s, and he's adding new stories to that mythos when Peter Parker still had the symbiote costume. And so this one, he's mixing it with his seminal run of the Incredible Hulk. So he's able to intertwine these characters in that era, and it'll be a very interesting read. So if you're a fan of that classic 80s Hulk and 90s Hulk, and if you're a fan of Spider-Man without necessarily needing to read a lot of it, this is just a miniseries onto itself, and it seems like a great read. This one seems very amazing. So this is from Cullen Bunn. Is the last book you'll ever read. It has a very 1930s feel, Necronomicon, Cthulhu-esque, Eldritch sort of feel to it. And so let's read. Civilization is a lie. Hidden deep in our genes is the truth, and is slowly clawing its way to the surface. Olivia Cade knows the truth, and she has become the prophet of the coming collapse. Her book, Satyr, is an international bestseller, and is being blamed for the acts of senseless violence and bloodshed all over the world. Olivia's own life is in danger from those who have read her work. Determined to conduct a book tour, she hires security professional Connor Wilson to act as her bodyguard. She only has one requirement: he cannot read her work. So these twisted tales, these books that are unforgiven, that change our the way how we see life, and we go mad. So if we're looking at Miskatonic was another series from Vault, and may have that twist. So if you like those eldritch sort of books, sort of stories, and it does definitely have a 1930s feel, I would definitely subscribe to it. I do not believe this is an ongoing. Usually Vault does, most of their books are miniseries. They do have a few ongoings, but they also often do them in season where the writer takes a break. But this, also it's Cullen Bunn, who's been writing a lot of things recently, from a lot of different brands, and so I'm very intrigued by this series, and I think you should too. So that was 10 books to subscribe to. As a professional graphic novel reader, which are usually compilations of older stuff, I recommend looking into this month. They're reprinting the Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus. Well, no, not this month. I mean, you can subscribe to it this month, and I believe this will come out by the end of the year, probably October or November. It reprints Ultimate Spider-Man 1 through 39, which is some of my very favorite Spider-Man written is by Brian Michael Davis. Bendis, very sorry. And so they're reprinting this. The original omnibus has been out of print for a couple of years now, and they're slowly reprinting these old omnibuses because they've gone up through the roof in value on the secondary market, and people just want to read books. So a lot of the elements from the MC are taken from the Ultimate Universe that was built in 2000. So Ultimate Spider-Man, the omnibus. Here it is. You can subscribe to it, create it. And then another honorable mention, the 11th book, but I couldn't fit in the top 10. Runes, which is also a Viking series, but more God of War, death metal, hardcore Northmen, this takes place in the north of Scotland, 850 BC, CE. Sorry. So this is Runes from SourcePoint Press. If you were looking to get We Don't Kill Spiders, do you like that Viking theme? There's anyone who was a reader of Neil Gaiman's series. I forget what it's called, but this has the same feel as this. So those are 10 books with an honorable mention and a graphic novel. You can find, if there anything that's missing in Managed Comics, you can find the full catalog. You also have the alternate covers from here on previewsworld.com/catalog. So you go to Previous World and just catalog, and then for DC Connect, I would just Google DC Connect 12, and it sends you straight to the link, and you click on the link here. So again, thank you so much for your time. My plan is to do this every month, every solicitation, 10 books that I seem like an interesting read, and that you can subscribe to. I'm also sorry if I did it in English instead of French. Obviously, whenever I do those weekly videos, I tend to stutter a lot. I'm trying to find my words. I'm also trying to outreach to more than our inner circle of customers who are mostly francophone. Then again, you guys know me. I speak a bit of Franglish. We could just switch. But the plan is to do this on a monthly basis in English. And if there's demand for me to do it in French, I'll just do it in French as well. If you guys want me to, just let me know. I'd be really interested to know. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next month.